welcome to this deep dive into Aldous Huxley's The Perennial Philosophy.
Oh, yeah.
You're in for a treat with this one. It's not your typical religious text.
No.
Huxley kind of takes us on this journey through all these mystical and spiritual traditions
Right.
across cultures and time
Yeah.
to highlight what they all have in common.
Yeah. It's like he's piecing together this puzzle of spiritual wisdom.
Exactly. And one of the things that really struck me as I was going through it was his writing style.
Yeah.
He doesn't just present like a dry collection of beliefs or anything.
No, it's very engaging. His writing is very engaging.
And he really brings the concepts to life.
Yeah.
I felt like he was kind of building an argument layer by layer,
Right.
leading to some pretty mind-blowing conclusions.
Yeah. It is kind of like a labyrinth where you're following a thread and uncovering
Exactly.
these deeper truths as you go along.
That's a great way to put it.
Right.
I think it would help if we tackle these themes one by one
Sure. Yeah.
to really see how they connect.
That makes sense.
And where better to start than with the foundation of it all?
Yeah.
Huxley keeps coming back to this idea of the ground,
Yeah.
this ultimate divine reality that underlies all existence.
Uh-huh. It's interesting how that concept pops up in all these different traditions.
Right.
You know, like Brahmin in Hinduism or the Godhead in Christianity.
Yeah.
Even the Tao in Taoism, it's always a little different.
Mm-hmm.
But the essence is always the same.
Yeah.
A reality that transcends our limited human understanding.
So it's not just like a specific deity.
No.
It's something much bigger, more fundamental.
Much bigger. Think of it like you're trying to explain infinity
Oh, wow.
to someone who's never seen anything beyond their own backyard.
Okay.
Words just aren't enough.
I can see that. Yeah.
Huxley points out that even the mystics themselves struggle to describe it. They have to resort to all these paradoxes, metaphors, to even hint at its vastness.
He uses a great analogy, actually, from astronomy. Yeah. He compares our perception of the universe with the naked eye versus a powerful telescope.
That's brilliant, because with our limited vision, we only see a few stars.
Yeah.
But the telescope reveals a universe that's teeming with galaxies.
Exactly. And it's like our understanding of the ground is similarly limited by our current instruments of perception.
Yes.
Our minds and our senses.
Exactly. It makes me think of that quote by Lao Tzu.
Oh, yeah.
It was from the nameless that heaven and earth sprang.
I love that quote.
Yeah.
It really captures that sense of mystery and awe.
It does, doesn't it?
Doesn't it?
It's like when you look up at the night sky.
Yes.
And you contemplate the vastness of the universe.
Yeah.
It's both humbling and exhilarating to realize how much is out there.
That we don't know.
Beyond our comprehension. And it's interesting that Huxley points out how a lot of these thinkers and mystics, they weren't physically robust people.
Interesting. Yeah. He suggests there might be a connection between those physical limitations and a deeper focus inward.
Like their limitations allowed them to dedicate more energy to contemplation and inner exploration, which led to these insights.
Yeah. And it adds another dimension to that idea.
Yeah.
That accessing this deeper understanding requires a shift in focus.
Yeah.
Like turning away from the external world and towards our inner world.
Precisely. Which leads us to another one of the big ideas in the book.
Okay.
This concept of that art thou.
Okay.
The idea that we are at our core connected to this divine ground.
That's a big statement. Are you talking about our souls being a part of God?
It's even more radical than that.
Okay.
That art thou points to an identity, or at least a very profound kinship between our true self and the ground.
Yeah.
It suggests that the separation we perceive is an illusion, a veil created by our identification with our ego and the limitations of our physical senses.
Oh, I think we can all relate to that feeling of separateness.
Yeah.
We tend to be pretty self-centered.
It's a very human tendency. Yeah. Huxley actually acknowledges that with a bit of humor.
Right.
But he points out that to realize this connection, a profound shift in perspective is needed.
Okay.
And he uses this term dying to self.
Ooh, that sounds a little intense.
And it does sound a bit dramatic. But he doesn't mean literally dying.
Okay.
He's referring to a metaphorical death.
Okay.
A letting go of the ego, the desires, even the thoughts that bind us to this illusion of separateness.
So it's like shedding a skin.
Yeah.
Allowing our true self to emerge.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It's a process of stripping away those layers that prevent us from recognizing
Yeah.
our true nature.
Our true nature, our connection to the ground.
But if this connection is so fundamental, why don't we all just experience it naturally? Well, like Huxley says, most of us are just caught up in this illusion of separateness.
Okay.
We identify with our thoughts, our desires, our emotions, and they create a veil between us and our true self.
So it's almost like we're asleep to this reality.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Hypnotized by the constant chatter of our minds.
Exactly. And dying to self is the process of waking up.
I like that. And so how do we wake up?
Well, Huxley goes on to explore different paths that can help us on this journey.
Different paths, you say. Tell me more.
Okay, so Huxley outlines 3 main paths, but he emphasizes that they're not mutually exclusive.
Okay.
It's not like you have to pick one and stick with it.
Right.
Think of them more like different approaches to the same summit.
Gotcha.
Some people might resonate more with one path than others.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But they all ultimately lead to the same goal.
Yeah.
Union with the ground.
All different personalities and tendencies and stuff. So it makes sense. There wouldn't be a one-size-fits-all approach to spiritual growth.
Right. So the first path Huxley discusses is the path of inward contemplation.
Okay.
This involves practices like meditation, introspection, cultivating stillness to quiet the mind and connect with that deeper self.
So it's about turning our attention inwards.
Yes.
Away from all the distractions of the external world.
Yes.
And towards the inner landscape of our being.
Precisely. It's about shifting from a state of doing to a state of being.
Okay.
Allowing ourselves to just experience that stillness and silence that's at the heart of our being.
I can see how that would be challenging in our modern world.
It is a challenge. There's so much noise.
So much stimulation,
Constantly bombarded with stimuli.
Yeah. Pulling us away from ourselves.
But Huxley argues that in this kind of environment, it becomes even more essential.
Oh.
It's like creating a sanctuary.
Within ourselves.
Yeah, a space to reconnect with our true nature amidst all the chaos.
Exactly. It's like building a muscle.
Yeah.
The more we practice turning inwards, the easier it becomes.
Yeah. Even amidst the business of life.
The second path Huxley highlights is the path of action and right living.
Okay.
This focuses on aligning our actions with the divine will.
Okay.
Expressing our connection to the ground through ethical conduct and service to others.
So this is about putting our understanding into practice?
Yes.
Making it manifest in the world through our actions.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that our actions have consequences, not just for ourselves, but for everyone around us.
It reminds me of what you were saying earlier about the illusion of separateness.
Yeah.
If we truly understand that we're all connected, then harming others would be like harming ourselves, right?
I know. It gets to the heart of the ethical implications.
Of the perennial philosophy.
Exactly.
When we see ourselves as part of a larger whole, our actions naturally become more aligned with the well-being of that whole.
It's like shifting from a mindset of competition and scarcity to one of cooperation and abundance.
Yes. And finally, Huxley discusses the path of knowledge, which involves transcending ego-centeredness through study, reflection, and gaining a deeper understanding of the nature of reality.
So this is about expanding our intellectual understanding of the ground and how it relates to everything.
But it's not just about accumulating knowledge for its own sake.
Right.
It's about allowing that knowledge to transform our perception. To shift our way of seeing ourselves and the world around us.
So it's like the difference between reading about a beautiful sunset and actually witnessing it firsthand.
Exactly. The experience is what transforms us, not just the intellectual understanding.
And are these paths like totally separate things?
Well, Huxley emphasizes that they're not mutually exclusive. In fact, they often complement and reinforce each other. For example, the insights you gain through inward contemplation can inform your actions. And your actions can deepen your understanding of the ground. The knowledge you acquire can inspire you to act in more compassionate and ethical ways.
It's like a virtuous cycle.
Exactly.
Each path feeding into and strengthening the others.
And what's really striking is how Huxley draws from such a diverse range of sources to illustrate these paths. He quotes Christian mystics, Sufi poets, Hindu scriptures, even Zen koans, showing how these seemingly different traditions converge on the same essential truth.
It really highlights the universality of these principles.
It does, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? Yeah, it's like there's this common thread
Yeah.
running through all these different expressions, pointing towards this same ultimate reality.
Exactly. And Huxley argues that recognizing this common thread is essential for fostering understanding and harmony between different cultures and religions.
That's a powerful message.
Yeah.
Especially in our current world.
Yeah.
Which seems so divided.
It often feels that way.
Along religious and cultural lines.
Exactly. He sees the perennial philosophy as a bridge between these different worldviews.
Yeah, highlighting that shared ground upon which we can build a more compassionate and interconnected world.
Yes. And, one of the most compelling themes that emerges from all this is the significance of love. In the perennial philosophy.
So it's not just about withdrawing from the world and focusing on our own individual spiritual development.
It's not just about that.
Okay. Love plays a crucial role.
It does.
In how we engage with the world around us.
Yes. In fact, Huxley goes so far as to say that God is love.
Wow. Okay.
But he's careful to distinguish between the kind of love that we typically think of.
Right, like romantic love, familial love.
Exactly. And a more universal, selfless love that's rooted in the understanding of our interconnectedness.
So we're not just talking about like warm, fuzzy feelings.
No.
But a deeper, more expansive love
that's
grounded in wisdom and compassion.
Precisely. And Huxley argues that cultivating this kind of love requires a certain amount of what he calls mortification in the context of love.
Wait, mortification? That sounds a little intense.
It does sound intense, but he doesn't mean like physical punishment or anything like that.
Okay.
It's not about that.
Okay.
It's more about a detachment from those selfish desires and attachments that keep us from experiencing true love.
So like letting go of those ego-driven needs that prevent us from living freely.
Yes.
And unconditionally.
It's about cultivating what some have called holy indifference.
Okay.
Not indifference in the sense of apathy,
but
a detachment from personal outcomes.
Okay.
A willingness to let go of our ego in order to make space for true love to flow.
So we need to empty ourselves of our self-centeredness in order to be filled with this love that's bigger than ourselves.
And Huxley emphasizes that this kind of love isn't something that we can force or manufacture.
Right.
It arises naturally as a result of spiritual progress.
So it's an outcome of the journey.
Yes.
Not something we can will into being.
Exactly. And it's fascinating how Huxley doesn't just talk about this in abstract terms.
Okay.
Give practical examples of how this kind of love manifests in the lives of the mystics and saints that he profiles in the book.
Give me some examples I'd love to hear.
Okay. So, for instance, he talks about how many of them were known for their acts of service and compassion.
Right.
They dedicated their lives to helping others, often at great personal sacrifice, because their love wasn't limited to just themselves, but extended to all beings.
Powerful example.
Yeah.
It shows how this kind of love can translate into those concrete actions that make a real difference in the world.
And it's not limited to these grand gestures. It can also manifest in the smallest acts of kindness.
Okay.
In the way we treat each other in our daily lives. In the compassion we extend to those who are suffering in the everyday moment.
Yeah, it's encouraging to hear.
Yeah.
It means that we don't have to become saints or mystics.
You can start right where you are.
Yeah.
In those everyday moments.
To experience and express this kind of love.
Yes. And one of the beautiful things about this kind of love is that it's not transactional.
Okay.
It's not about getting something back.
Okay.
It's about expressing our true nature.
Okay.
Which, as Huxley reminds us, is love itself.
It's like we're all these vessels of love.
Yeah.
And the more we empty ourselves of the things that block that flow, the more freely it can pour through us into the world.
It makes me think of another key theme that emerges from this exploration. The interconnectedness of all things.
Okay.
He emphasizes that this isn't just a mystical idea, but a reality that's supported by modern science.
I'm intrigued by that connection between mysticism and science.
Yeah.
How does he bridge those two?
Well, he points to discoveries in fields like quantum physics and ecology that are revealing the interconnected nature of reality at the most fundamental level.
Okay.
For example, quantum physics has shown that particles aren't just isolated entities, but exist in a state of entanglement.
Okay.
They influence each other, even across vast distances.
It's like science is catching up to what the mystics have been saying for centuries.
Exactly. We're all part of this vast interconnected web of being.
And this understanding has profound implications for how we see everything.
Absolutely.
From our relationships to our relationship with the planet.
And Huxley doesn't shy away from the challenges that this understanding poses to our modern worldview.
Okay.
Our current systems, economic, political, social, they're often based on this paradigm of separation.
Yeah, competition.
And competition, which is fundamentally at odds with this truth of interconnectedness.
Yeah. It suggests that we need like a major paradigm shift if we're going to create a world that's truly aligned with these principles.
And Huxley doesn't offer any easy solutions.
Okay.
But he does suggest that cultivating a deeper understanding within ourselves is a crucial first step.
So starting with ourselves?
Yes.
With our own inner transformation?
Yeah.
And allowing that to ripple outwards?
Exactly. And what's really inspiring is that he doesn't present this as some kind of burden or chore.
Okay.
He sees it as a source of immense joy, meaning, and fulfillment.
That's a refreshing perspective.
Yeah.
It's not about denying ourselves pleasure or joy.
It's about discovering a deeper and more lasting kind of happiness that's rooted in our connection to something greater than ourselves.
Yeah. And it's amazing how he conveys all these profound ideas.
It is, isn't it?
In such an engaging way.
His writing, it's very engaging.
It's not just like a dry philosophical treatise.
No.
He weaves together personal anecdotes, insightful observations, poetic passages from so many different sources. Creating this really rich tapestry of wisdom.
It's a beautiful tapestry.
Yeah, that speaks to both the head and the heart.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the reasons why this book continues to resonate with people today. Right. It offers this timeless wisdom that's relevant to anyone who's seeking a deeper understanding.
Yeah, of themselves and the world.
Yes. And he doesn't present it as a solitary pursuit either. He emphasizes that we're all on this journey together.
It's nice to be reminded of that sometimes.
Yeah.
That we're not alone.
Exactly.
We can support each other along the way.
It makes me think of that African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone.
Oh, I like that one.
If you want to go far, go together.
Yeah.
And Huxley even suggests that cultivating a sense of community and belonging is essential for our spiritual growth. Yeah. He points out that many traditions emphasize the importance of sangha, or spiritual community, as a support system for those on the path.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Having a group of like-minded people who share our values would make that journey less daunting.
Yeah. Yeah. And Huxley doesn't limit this idea to just formal religious groups.
Okay.
We can find this in our families, our friendships, even online, in groups that share our interests.
It means that even if we don't belong to a formal spiritual community, we can still cultivate that sense of connection with others who are on a similar path.
And one of the most beautiful things about this is that it reminds us that we're not alone.
Yeah. We're all in this together.
We are.
Yeah, supporting each other on this journey.
Towards greater understanding, compassion, and love.
Like we're all threads in a vast tapestry.
Beautiful image.
Yeah. Each playing our part in creating this more beautiful and harmonious whole.
And you know, one of the fascinating things about the book is how he delves into this concept of time and eternity.
Oh, okay.
He explores how different traditions view time, contrasting the linear chronological understanding.
Right, like in Western cultures.
Yes, with the cyclical recurring understanding.
Yeah, more common in Eastern traditions.
Exactly. And it makes you think about how our perception of time shapes our whole experience of reality.
Yeah. How does he connect that back to the perennial philosophy?
Well, he suggests that these different cultural perspectives on time might seem contradictory, but they can actually be seen as complementary viewpoints that illuminate different aspects of reality. The linear view of time helps us understand the process of growth, change, and evolution, while the cyclical view highlights the interconnectedness and those recurring patterns that underlie the universe.
So both offer valuable insights.
Exactly. And Huxley points out that the perennial philosophy itself actually transcends both of these understandings of time.
No.
It points to a reality
Yeah.
that's beyond time altogether.
Wow.
This eternal present
Yeah.
that's always accessible to us.
That's a mind-bending concept.
Yeah.
It makes me think of those moments when you experience a sense of timelessness.
Yeah.
Like when you're deeply absorbed in something.
Yeah, or when you're experiencing
nature.
a profound connection with nature or another person.
Yes.
Those are glimpses into that eternal present.
And through practices like meditation, we can cultivate a greater awareness of this timeless dimension of reality.
It's like we can learn to step outside the flow of linear time and access this deeper level of being.
That's always present, always available.
And again, what's inspiring about Huxley is he doesn't just present this stuff theoretically. He grounds it in concrete examples from people's lives who have embodied these principles.
And that makes it seem more real and accessible.
It does, doesn't it?
It's like he's showing us that it's possible to live these principles in the midst of our everyday lives.
Even if we're not monks or mystics.
Even if we're not monks or mystics. Yeah, exactly. And he also doesn't present it as like a fixed dogma or belief system.
No, he sees it as an ongoing exploration, a lifelong process of learning and growing and deepening our understanding of ourselves and the universe. He's encouraging us to be lifelong learners. To approach life with curiosity.
Curiosity and wonder. And always be open to new insights.
And he does it in such an engaging way. He's not lecturing at us. He's inviting us to participate in this conversation.
I like that.
It's
like he's treating us as intellectual equals.
He is.
Respecting our intelligence. And inviting us to join him on this journey of discovery.
And he leaves us with this sense of hope. And possibility. He doesn't shy away from the challenges
that we face.
But he also points towards a path forward.
He does. He points us to a way of living that's aligned with the deepest truths of our being.
It's like he's offering a glimpse of a world that's more compassionate, more interconnected. Not just a utopian dream, but a real possibility.
If we're willing to do the work.
If we're willing to do the inner work.
Exactly. And we don't have to be saints to make a difference. He believes that even small acts of kindness, compassion, understanding can contribute to creating a better world.
That's a really powerful message, especially in our current times.
It's a good reminder that we're not alone.
We're all part of this vast web of interconnected beings.
We can draw strength from each other. And inspiration from those who've walked this path before us.
It's like we're all part of this grand symphony. Beautiful image.
Each playing our part in creating this more beautiful and harmonious whole.
And another fascinating aspect of the book is how he weaves together insights from Eastern and Western traditions. He highlights both their similarities and differences. He doesn't shy away from the unique contributions of each tradition, but he also emphasizes the common ground that unites them.
That's really important, especially today when the world often seems so polarized.
Between East and West.
Between East and West, Like he's offering a bridge between these seemingly different worldviews, showing us that there's more that unites us than divides us.
And one striking example of this is his discussion of contemplation and action. He points out that Eastern traditions often emphasize meditation and inner stillness, while Western traditions focus more on outward action. Service to others makes sense given their history and cultures. But Huxley suggests that both are essential for a balanced spiritual life.
So contemplation without action can become sterile and self-absorbed.
It can.
And action without contemplation can be mindless and directionless.
It can be like the yin and yang of spiritual practice.
Exactly. Both necessary for a harmonious and fulfilling life.
And he sees this balance reflected in the lives of many mystics and saints. He points to figures like the Buddha, who spent years in solitary meditation, but then went out and taught. St. Francis, who combined a deep contemplative life with service to the poor.
Powerful example of how we can integrate these seemingly different aspects into our own lives.
And what's compelling is that he doesn't just present this in a theoretical vacuum. He grounds it in the lives
Yeah.
of real people. Yeah.
Who've embodied the perennial philosophy.
Right. In their own unique ways.
Yeah. It shows us that it's possible
Yeah.
to live these principles.
Yeah.
Even if we're not like,
monks or mystics.
Monks or mystics.
Yeah, exactly. And he doesn't present it as this fixed dogma or belief system.
It's an ongoing exploration.
Okay.
A lifelong process.
A lifelong process.
Learning and growing and deepening our understanding of ourselves and the universe.
He encourages us to approach life with that sense of curiosity and wonder.
Yes. Always be open to new insights.
Yeah.
New perspectives.
Yeah. And he does it in such an engaging way.
His writing is very engaging.
It's like he's inviting us into this conversation.
He is.
He's treating us like our intelligence matters.
Absolutely.
Like we can handle these big ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a journey of shared discovery.
It is. And it leaves you with this sense of hope and possibility.
It's nice to end on that kind of note.
It is, isn't it?
Doesn't shy away from the challenges that we face.
But he points towards a path forward, a way of living that's aligned with those deepest truths of our being.
It's like he's offering us a glimpse of a world that's more just compassionate, interconnected.
It's not just a utopian dream.
Right.
It's a real possibility if we're willing to do the work.
If we're willing to do the inner work. Yeah.
Exactly. And we don't have to be saints to make a difference.
Yeah.
He believes that even small acts can contribute to creating a better world.
Powerful message, especially when things feel overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a beautiful thing about the perennial philosophy.
Yeah.
It reminds us that we're not alone
in these struggles
and aspirations.
We're all part of this web of interconnected beings.
Yeah. We can draw strength from each other.
We can. An inspiration from those who've walked this path before us. Like we're all part of this grand symphony.
Beautiful image.
Yeah. Each playing our part.
Yes.
In creating this more beautiful and harmonious whole.
And one of the most important things that Huxley emphasizes is the necessity of balance.
Okay.
He doesn't advocate for complete withdrawal from the world.
Okay.
Or a life solely focused on material pursuits.
It seems like it's about finding that middle path.
It is, yeah.
Integrating the spiritual and the material.
Exactly. He stresses the importance of balance between contemplation and action.
Okay, yeah.
Between solitude and community.
Yeah.
Between appreciating the beauty of the world.
Yeah.
And recognizing its impermanence.
It sounds like a delicate dance.
It is a delicate dance.
Finding that sweet spot where we're engaged with the world but not consumed by it.
Yeah.
Pursuing spiritual growth.
Yeah.
But not neglecting our earthly responsibilities.
Yes. And there's no one-size-fits-all approach. There isn't. It's an ongoing process of self-discovery and adjustment.
Okay.
It's responding to the ever-changing circumstances of life.
Yeah. This idea of balance seems essential.
It is.
For navigating all the complexities of life.
Yeah.
Finding a way to live in the world.
Yeah.
But not losing sight of our true nature.
And Huxley offers some practical suggestions for cultivating balance.
Okay.
He emphasizes practices like meditation, mindfulness, and spending time in nature.
Okay.
These can help us reconnect with our inner selves and cultivate a sense of peace.
Right. Create that space and stillness in our lives.
Yeah. Which can be hard in our world.
Yeah. So important.
Yeah. He also encourages us to be mindful of our consumption. Both material and mental. And to simplify our lives. Where possible.
Yeah. Make space for what matters.
Yes. It's like decluttering.
Yeah.
Both externally and internally.
Yeah. To make room for that spiritual dimension to grow.
Exactly. And it's not about being perfect.
Right.
He acknowledges that we're human.
We're going to make mistakes.
We'll make mistakes.
Yeah. We get caught up.
We get distracted.
In the distractions.
But he encourages us to keep coming back to these principles.
Keep striving.
Yeah. Knowing that even small steps can make a difference.
It's a nice message of hope and encouragement.
It is.
You don't have to be perfect to be on the path.
Well, you don't.
Every moment is an opportunity.
Yeah. For growth and transformation.
The perennial philosophy offers a wealth of wisdom.
It does.
And inspiration.
Yeah.
And it's up to each of us to take what resonates and apply it to our own lives.
I agree.
I think that's a perfect note to end on.
I think so too.
To our listener, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the perennial philosophy. We hope it sparks some curiosity in you.
Yeah.
To explore these ideas further and to see how they might inform your own journey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Remember, the journey is the destination.
I liked it.
Embrace the process. Be patient with yourself and never stop seeking the truth that lies within.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.